Now, many little boys growing up will fondly remember getting their first Airfix models and the hours of pleasure that went into making different tanks and planes.
But for some, the love of making models has continued into adult life, as I discovered when I met up with members of the Irish Model Soldier Society, who have taken their passion to a whole new level. This is John, Jerry and Dave, three men in their 40s who happily spend anything up to 3 hours a night painting and constructing tanks, airplanes and figurines.
No, it's a hobby, and I try and keep it as a hobby, not as an obsession.
Okay, right. Why are you saying that the lads are obsessed?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dave Coyne's passion is painting World War II tanks, which he's sold all over the world. You describe yourself as a model-aholic.
Model-aholic, did I say that? Really, yeah. That was kind of a joke, but I suppose I am, because I'd spend a lot of time making models, you know, a lot of time. I'd say 5 days a week. In the evenings now, you know, I would model away maybe 2-3 hours a day. So if that makes me a model-aholic, then I'm a model-aholic.
Yeah, no, I think so, definitely. That's a lot of man-hours put in, and it's in particular, you make tanks and bits of artillery.
My thing would be definitely World War II tanks, both any of the combatants in World War II. At the moment, I kind of favour the American side, the Allies, simply because the kits that are out there at the moment are just fantastic. There's a lot of new armour kits that weren't available years ago that have come out, and they're just kind of exciting stuff to build, you know, so I'm really interested in that.
Is it an expensive hobby for you?
I wouldn't say so, no. Kits can cost anywhere up to, say, from 30 to 60 euros. Then there are other little bits and pieces that go along with them, you know, that you can add to them and stuff like that. But the time that goes into it, I would say it's quite well spent. I mean, you could spend 30 quid in a pub in a night if you're much of a drinker, which I'm not, you know, so that's my little thing, you know. Some people like to go out and drink. I like to go modelling, you know.
If you call into Jerry Doyle's house, don't look in his attic. There are hundreds of airplanes and shoeboxes up there. Describe a few of the ones that you have on display for us today, starting with, I suppose, the oldest one.
The oldest one, well, the four here at the front here would be from World War II, so 2 German planes and 1 American and 1 British. The German planes, I find them interesting because of no two were ever the same colour-wise, so you, especially in kind of late war, late 44, 45 after the invasion, they just didn't have paint and they didn't have stock, and so some planes weren't painted at all. They were just aluminium, and they were built in 4 or 5 different places, so you'd have 4
different bits.
Every bit would be different colour. So for me, it's colour. You know, and the vibrancy and the weathering as well.
Is it a hobby, do you think you'll keep with you for the rest of your life? Or?
Yes. Yeah.
What do people think when you tell them? Or
the first thing they say is, "Oh, Airfixes," and I go, "Yeah, basically," and that's how the conversation goes. And they go, "I used to do that when I was a kid, you know, and stuff like that," and I grew out of it. And I go, "Well, I didn't." So. A lot of people are generally interested, I think, but maybe that's just me. boring people to death.
Building box dioramas and figurines is John Schlee's love. There's no kit involved. He makes them up entirely himself. They're really amazing. I mean, there's 3D images in the back there. You've got backlights and you've got scenes from over generations.
Well, yeah, you can really pick any period of history to model. It doesn't matter what period, whatever takes your interest. It doesn't have to necessarily be military. It can be from civilian life and all walks of civilian life. For instance, we've got some that are from Julius Caesar's period, early Roman days, First World War, set in a drawing room in Great Britain. And then we move on to the Second World War, where we have a downed fighter pilot who's been aided by French resistance into hiding.
You have is it a specially built area in the back garden for your building.
I have my workshop out the back, yeah, that's fully kitted out. It has all my reference books. It's my little hidey hole. Down the end of the garden, down I go.
And what does your other half think of this passion?
She really supports me. If it wasn't for her, there's an awful lot of stuff that wouldn't get done. But she's also my greatest critic as well.
The Irish Model Soldier Society meets up the first Thursday of every month at the Garda Club in Harrington Street in Dublin.
And they're all married.
Yeah, it's
All married.
an air fixation.
Well, that's what you could call it, I suppose. Anyway, it's a healthy hobby, and as one of the lads said, he could be out drinking, but he's not. Instead, he's at home following this.